Jussie Smollett, our favorite crisis actor that the nation likes to talk about, is back in the news. Well, not only, of course, because of the bombastic comments by our president, U.S. Donald Trump, who just talked about the Jussie Smollett case on the national stage, which, of course, we're going to get into and break down in a little bit. But, Jason, there's a lot of interesting coverage. There's a lot of interesting lawsuits coming out from, of course, this huge international case that became international because of just how absurd and insane it actually was. We're finding out right now that the Osundario brothers, the big, huge Nigerian weightlifting professional boxers who allegedly, according to the official story from Jussie Smollett and his lawyer, Jussie Smollett and his little white Gucci sneakers fought these guys off. There's a picture of them. Little skinny Smollett fought these guys off, according to the official story. And the official story now, according to all the authorities here in this case that are defending Smollett fought these guys off, and these were the guys who decided to portray themselves. These guys are the ones responsible for everything. Well, these guys are now firing back, and they're suing Smollett's lawyer, who, by the way, is also connected to Nexium, which Jason Burmis is going to bring up in just a little bit. We're also finding out that the prosecutor who allowed this travesty of injustice to happen, she's also being subpoenaed. And, of course, as that is happening, Jussie Smollett's lawyers are actually even filing a motion to review this kind of opposing this kind of larger review that is happening here. But first of all, we wouldn't be talking about this if it wasn't for just how insane this situation is, but also for what Donald Trump said. So before we get into Trump's comments, Jason, what do you make of these kind of latest legal ramifications surrounding Smollett?
Well, I think number one, it's pretty obvious the special prosecutor is going to happen. They're going to look at this, and her being subpoenaed could mean a lot for the actual legalities of this case. Let's not forget the city has sued Smollett for all the police work they did on this case. That's a totally and completely separate issue. And like you talked about, we now have the brothers filing a defamation suit against Garagos and the other lawyer involved in this. And that's huge because, look, Garagos is the lawyer, Luke, for Claire Bronfman in the Nexium case. And when it came out in court just a couple weeks ago that Garagos was working for her, but so was Michael Avenatti, the notorious porn lawyer we're constantly seeing in the news.
Creepy porn lawyer.
She supposedly fainted and had a breakdown in court. Like, that's how crazy this is. So it's very odd that a Hollywood actor in some kind of a crappy television show is able to have these power players surrounding him. Like, if he got a good lawyer, I get it. But you literally have the billionaire Bronfman sister lawyer, Mark Garagos. That's pretty high-level stuff. So, Trump came out.
And of course, hold on. Before we get into Trump, many people point, of course, to his cozy relationship with the Obamas, with, of course, many powerful Democrats. And what happened was, again, this whole entire case happened, and then he did community service for Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson, again, connected to all of these individuals, connected to the prosecutor there. And literally, he just hung out with Jesse Jackson. Ultimately, I'm generalizing it, hung out with Jesse Jackson. That was his community service for what many of people have shown and documented as just clear evidence that he hoaxed this. Because again, his official story is now that these Osundario brothers, these huge professional strong lifting guys, made all of this up and legitimately tried to beat him up. That all the burden is on them. That's what Smollett's lawyers are making the claim of here. And it's crazy. Not just on the bare fact that Smollett would have been destroyed by these guys, but just absolutely extremely disingenuous. They threw these guys under the bus, and now they are suing for, of course, defamation, which I believe is going to be a very interesting case to follow, because from everything we're seeing, it does look like they're extremely defamed. And of course, Trump put things into context with, of course, his speech yesterday that he did during the correspondence dinner. Of course, he wasn't at the correspondence dinner. He just set up one of his rallies to be during the correspondence dinner. And he went off. He didn't hold anything back against Smollett. Should we play some of this clip, Jason?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of these kind of clips, but Trump, he plays it up with the audience. They love it. if we can get it to go.
If you can get your ad block, or it could be the ad block or anything else. Well, I mean, just in short, he called him a third-rate actor. He called the entire case a disgrace to our nation, and I hate to say it, I don't agree with Trump on much, but he was.
We may have the greatest theme in the history of politics. It's called "Make America Great Again." It's called MAGA country.
See,
MAGA country. It's called MAGA country. You know, I didn't hear that term until that third-rate actor in Chicago went out and he said, I was beaten up by MAGA country. Can you believe it?
can you believe it?
Now, that's a hate crime, right? He said he was beaten up by MAGA country. Turned out to be a total lie. But think of it, MAGA, make America great again. And by the way, I have to tell you, that case in Chicago is a disgrace to our nation. Disgrace.
Can't really disagree with the end there.
Yeah, that's what I said. You can't really disagree with him. Now, of course, he during the speech that, of course, was scheduled at the same time as the White House Correspondents' Dinner, he cursed. He, of course, talks very simply. Many people, of course, accuse him of talking unpresidential. But I think what people are missing here, especially in the media establishment, is that him talking like this, him being as blunt and as harsh and speaking in very simple tones, even cursing. He cursed in that speech. Is actually what allures many middle Americans, allures many people to support him, because it's totally different from the fake kind of talking points and professional bullcrap that a lot of people are disingenuous. See as a representation of people being disingenuous. Sarah Sanders also spoke up there. So it was an interesting rally, to say the least. But really, the rallies are one of the key points to his success, and people need to realize from a political point of view. I'm not saying I'm not again celebrating them or trying to downplay them. I think it's important to talk about them in the aspects of political power, because they sure do bring a lot of political sway to U.S. President Donald Trump, Jason.
Well, again, he goes into Wisconsin, and he opens up a 90-minute speech talking about the Green Bay Packers. He's not an idiot. Green Bay. You think he watches Green Bay Packers football? He does not. Do you think he cares about Green Bay Packers football? He does not. He's been a very well-calculated acting persona for decades now, and I think he's just wallowing in it. And I'll tell you what, it was a good PR move for him to just not only this year not attend the Correspondents' Dinner, because last year, he had part of his staff there, but tell the staff don't go and instead come to this thing. And Sarah Sanders, who hasn't, I believe, given a brief in something like 7 weeks. It may be longer than that, but around 7 weeks. That's a long time.
Yeah, she had no press conference, no podium for over 7 weeks now. So this is, unprecedented for many administrations.
Yeah, for her to kind of sit up there a year later where, some of her looks were digged at that Correspondents' Dinner, and get to talk to an audience, an adoring crowd, that's a brilliant political move. And, I'm not trying to tout either one of these people. I'm saying it's smart. And when they bring things like the Smollett case up that are just so blatant, so in your face, and so connected to the political establishment on the left, it only makes their argument stronger. And just like you said, these are the people that are going to vote for this administration in 2020. And, for better or for worse, people better realize that they have their PR down for the United States like nobody else.
Yeah, exactly. Again, we're trying to address this from a critical point of view, not supporting or just hating Donald Trump for no reason. It's important to be clear-headed here. And unless you've been to one of his rallies, you don't understand the power behind them. I mean, 10,000 people attended this rally. That's 10,000 people under the sway of his persuasion, which is vast. I've been to many of his speeches. He knows how to play the crowd off amazingly, and that's what he's doing exactly here with this Jussie Smollett case. That's what he's doing time again. There's a lot of things to be critical of him. There's a lot of things to hold his feet to the fire to. That, of course, the media fails, the establishment fails, the intelligence agencies fail to actually talk about. But that's why we're here. But to discount him as just an egotistical idiot is disingenuous. It's something that is going to bring a larger disservice and something that's going to hurt the actual discussion in this country. Because again, just like we want to highlight here, he's not an idiot. He knows exactly what he's doing, and those comments with Smollett are highlighted, and they're going to be a very important talking point of the next election cycle. That's my take on it. Anything else you want to say, Jason, and should we close it off here?
No, that's about it. Guys, we're doing 4 videos a day across 2 platforms. Please subscribe to We Are Change and Pulse Change. Ring that bell so you get the notifications. Share this stuff on social media. And most importantly, get out there and be the change you want to see in the world.